BenFlyingRetro, and I'm embarking on a quest to purchase every classic GI Joe comic from the original 80s and 90s Marvel run.
Warning.
Hunting down individual issues from every corner of the globe in whatever order the universe decides to give me. Join me and my pal Steve every week as we discuss my latest find. Welcome to Chasing Joe. Chasing Joe. Hello and welcome to episode 60 of Chasing Joe. It's me, BenFlyingRetro. I'm dressed as the Mad Hatter. I've got a coffee in my hands. It's Halloween's Eve. I am breakfast clubbed, pumped. My nads are pumped. Let's do a show. Is there anybody out there?
Yes, Job 7-8 reporting for duty from sunny South Africa. Now, Ben, since this is happening after Halloween, is it correct to assume that you have been the Mad Hatter for the big night?
No, that would be incorrect. My daughter, Indiana, is going as the Mad Hatter. I am going as a disheveled zombie banker. It's my go-to. It's my go-to outfit. And me and Emma were laughing because we realized that I bought that suit for like weddings and stuff, and I have now worn it as a zombie suit more than I have been to weddings. So, that's pretty fun.
Yeah, useful as a Halloween costume nonetheless.
This evening we are going on a Halloween themed walk through the deep, deep woods. And it's like an actual ticketed thing.
So nice.
Too scary for Scout, but me, Phoenix, and Indy are going to hit it up. Hopefully there'll be some. I'm hoping for acting, like maybe some skirmishes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Certainly some jump scares. I mean,
well, dude,
that's
you
easy, right?
You feel like a different person. You look like a different person. I feel like your shoulders, you've been rounded off. You've had your edges rounded off. You feel lighter.
Jeez, Ben.
It's because you're home.
Yes, and let's not downplay the fact that we've gotten to this point after a pretty monumental move. We've packed up our world, put it on a container down to Melbourne, where it will remain for 7 months until we move into someplace down there. Meanwhile, we're sitting in Cape Town at my folks' place, surrounded by all my childhood tat. I got toys up the wazoo. And here's a little sneak peek for you viewers out there of what we might be dealing with in this episode of Chasing Joe.
Oh, yeah.
It's a shark. It's a moccasin.
Is
amazing
your
toys.
camera like a wide-angle lens or something? Because them they're
No, I'm just a bit further away.
Oh, they looked teeny.
Elliot wants me to show you his favorite plush, a little boba tea he calls Minus. How he came up with the name? It's a mystery.
Oh, okay. Emma just had an article published in the Guardian newspaper, and she had to list her top 10 Jellycats. Was that a Jellycat you just showed me?
Fortunately not, because those are like $80 a pop, I think.
Yeah, they're doing
each of my
now.
Yeah, well, my two boys each have a Jellycat, but no, this is
yes.
I forget the
Every
name. Kim knows the name.
Infant imprints on a Jellycat. It seems.
Well, that's what they'd like you to believe, Ben. That's the sales pitch if I ever heard one.
Well, yeah. Now, look, before we get into the show, little bit of housekeeping. This guy, BenFlyingRetro, only went to the UK's largest GI Joe / Transformers. I want to say not convention, but what do I want to say? Toy fair. It was Rollout Roll Call.
Yeah,
and
boy.
It took part in Fordingbridge, and I grew up in a little village next door to Fordingbridge called Alderholt. It blows my mind that this event takes place where I grew up. My mum worked in Fordingbridge for like 15 years. And just even driving there, I was getting the feels. So yeah,
Oh,
I
nice.
took myself to roll out roll call. Now, do you even know what that is? Is it big enough that it hits you?
Look, I've been aware of the name of the convention
Okay.
for I don't know, maybe 2 decades now. Rollout roll call. It was kind of mentioned uh, in the same conversations as JoeCon was.
Oh,
That if you were in the UK,
wow.
you want to go to rollout roll call.
Well, Chief told me that once upon a time it was maybe a lot bigger than it is now. And
Okay.
they actually had Larry turn up at one.
Yes,
Now,
can
I can tell
confirm.
you there was
In
no
pre-COVID
way.
times, I think Larry was more happy to fly
Well, this is a much
overseas.
smaller, scaled down version of it. This is the only one I've ever known. And this is literally a town hall in a very small village. So
Okay,
there was no way
gosh.
Larry was gonna be there. But I went there, and I
Yeah, you
believe we've
did.
got some VT that we can roll. There it is. So adjacent across the street is all the cool stuff where the chap owns that shop and he runs it. So there's me getting my wristband. I'm about to go in. A good amount of people. And as you can see, it was just tables with people selling their wares. Lot of vehicles, a lot of complete figs, kind of all between 20 and 30 pounds. Quite overwhelming. Lot of vehicles. Some of them are sort of highly battered and vary in price massively. Lot of Transformers. I think this is the first time it has very much been 50-50. I think it might have been more Joe based, and maybe now it's perfectly even. There is the Defiant. First time I've ever seen it in the flesh. Oh, there's a carded slice. We might talk about that a little bit later. A lot of Action Force stuff. Old school Action Force. These cosplayers. Yeah, well, there we go. That was my footage. But I had a great time. I didn't have anyone to go with, so it was just me. So I kind of was there for quite a while. I just drank it in. But yeah, it was a funny one. I sort of went from having so much stuff to buy to then like stripping it back and like losing it and thinking, oh, do I need this? Do I really need all these figs? And then I thought, oh, maybe I'll get like a vehicle. And then I saw a dude that was just selling carded figures, and I just couldn't resist. I've wanted a 90s carded Ninja Force figure because I just think visually it just represents a time in the line that I think is quite like visually fun to look at. Like, I'm going to probably frame this or display this because I want to see this every day. And I thought to myself, maybe at this phase in my collecting, I have so many loose figures, like a lot. What me getting like 4 more or 5 more and spending 100 quid, I thought maybe it's actually better to. This was 50 quid, which by the way I thought was actually really good. I was like,
Oh yeah.
maybe putting this up in my hall where I see it every day actually has more value to me. And it
And that's a
is.
particularly good sample. The card is
Dude,
vibrant, not faded. It's
it's
very flat.
minty. It's
Yeah,
very
you
minty.
did good, sir.
It's a
It's such a
feast for
visual
the
assault.
eyes. Yeah, and it has the Toys R Us $2.99.
Oh, so it's
You
purchased in the
know,
United States.
look,
Interesting.
someone had that gun on that day and sliced it up. Literally. So yeah, that was my purchase. That was my main GI Joe purchase. And then something happened to me where I wasn't expecting to buy any Transformers, but boy, did I. I picked up a Jazz and a Slag for
You
Scout.
gotta wait. Remind yourself, what's he called? What was he called?
Yeah, well, he's
Okay,
called Slug,
Slag.
but Scout refuses. And it gets funnier because now we
Good.
have 2, and Scout is running around saying, we've got 2 Slags. So that's
That's great.
two
Oh
fat
boy.
slags. So yeah, they were. I think they were loose, but they were studio series, which is a bit like Legacy.
Mm.
Anyway, I spoke to so many vendors. I really figured out the Transformer lines. Anyway, just before I left, I nipped over to all the cool stuff because I was going to buy a couple of mask figures that he had in his cabinet there. And then, as I was at the till, they had this massive Devastator figure.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, dude, what the heck is this? What line is this? Because me and Scout really want a Devastator, but it's really confusing. He basically
So many varieties.
he gave me an education. So he was like, this is the studio line, but then there's multiple lines within that to make this dude. So I was like, look, can I get this now, here? Can I get all of them? So I needed Bone Crusher, Scavenger, Mixmaster, Scrapper, and then there's a twin pack with Hook and Long Haul. And within that twin pack is a trailer, which makes up Devastator's kind of crotch.
Right.
And he was like, that's what you need to get today because that is going up in price. So basically, I dropped a couple of
So basically,
£100.
he's a good salesman. He got you,
Yeah,
buddy.
well, no, I
got
kind
the
of,
sale.
I took what he had in his shop, and then I went back across the street and picked up Bone Crusher, and then I got the other couple. So this is basically all for Christmas. So
Oh.
Scout is about to have his mind blown on Christmas Day.
He doesn't know.
No, he doesn't know. So
He's not a
we're
listener
gonna
to Chasing Joe.
No. So we are going Constructicon crazy. I did not
Epic.
expect that to happen, but it was so. This toy was so incredible, and we've wanted one for so long. But the lines
a good one.
are so confusing, and the way he just took me through it, and I was like, okay. I mean, it is genuinely quite confusing to build this
Yes.
sucker with the different ones.
And
you
my
can
first
get.
response when you showed me images of these component parts of Devastator offline was, if you were to flip the script and go to like a Transformer store in China, you would be awash with third-party Devastators, which are amazing, mind-blowing. But I can understand why we want to keep it all Hasbro. But yeah, Devastator is a popular gestalt, is the most popular gestalt for everyone to take a crack at. So there are multiples, and they are all very, very good.
So just quickly before we get into this week's issue, where are you at with convention overwhelm and almost convention regret? Like they had a tiger fly and it was only 40 quid and it looked perfect. I don't know if it could have been for 40 quid, but I'm already confused to why I didn't buy it.
Yeah, Ben, that's
it's
a tough one,
difficult.
man. It like time heals all, right? The further you get from that convention, the less it'll sting. But yeah, I've absolutely walked away from conventions thinking, "Oh my god, I wish this was on again next weekend because I would have cleaned up." Like
It's
hindsight
so
is
unusual
such
to
a
see
cruel
so
thing.
much. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
true. It's too much.
very unusual to see so much GI Joe. You know, you're dealing for the rest of the year. You are dealing with scraps. You know, you are in the dark corners of the web, and then just to see, you're like, oh, well, here it all is. What are you going to do about
And
it?
I don't have to pay postage, and I don't have to pay customs, and I don't have to wait. It's there. I can inspect it to make sure there are no hidden flaws. Conventions the best. I keep banging that drum, buddy.
I had choice paralysis almost with the loose figures. I really did. I was like, oh my God, this is impossible. I mean, at one point, I had so much stuff, like a hilarious amount. And then you
carrying your swag.
You just start stripping it back. And then, are you surprised how I was more taken with the carded figures? Because to say it was unusual to see, minty loose figs, it was very unusual to see. So I felt like I was in the shop again. I was like, this is bizarre. To see carded Joe, I was like, this is surreal. I mean, there wasn't that many, but he essentially just had all of the Ninja Force figures.
Okay.
But it was remarkable to see them, and I did enjoy chatting to everyone. It was really fun. So very glad I went, and I'm glad I got a fantastic carded figure that will sit next to my barbecue figure very
Oh
nicely.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
You kind of bookending the line.
I have to say,
The
I
kind of
can't stop looking at this
zaniness from the
thing.
early days and the zaniness from the latter days.
It it does just take you back. They are joyous. You do have to have an example. You definitely have to have one in your collection. I
Yep.
mean, they are pricey, but I personally think that £50 is a really, really good deal for this. 50
And that
quid.
brings us to a very good question for the listeners. If you are not a carded collector, but you have splurged maybe once or twice on a carded fig, what was that fig? What is their special significance to
Yeah.
you?
Well, do you think you're limited a little bit with between sort of what you want and what you can get? Uh,
Always, yeah. It's
you
such a
know,
lovely, like Sophie's choice. All these considerations.
yeah.
But yeah, it does kind of help to have availability and price be your limiting factors.
But I am probably coming to an end of my carded journey. Like I have two really good examples.
Yep.
The one that I personally wanted to tick that 90s box was Snake Eyes version 4.
Ah,
But
yes.
what's interesting, I have had Slice in my eBay basket multiple times for around the
Okay.
80 to £100 mark. So to see him for 50, I was like, well, that's
On card.
done. That
Hell's
is
the yeah.
done. And,
Well,
no
yes. To answer
buyer's
my own
remorse.
question, my two and done are 1989 Stalker and 1989 Snake Eyes. What a great 1-2 punch of carded figs. And for
Jeez.
that, I have extensive Joe to thank. Formerly Joe Mauler Works. What a legend.
Now, this week is another kind donation from Tom
Yes.
Donaldson.
Hey,
What has he sent
Springfield,
me? He's
Springsteen.
drip feeding me. Just keep me on the leash. He's no fool. Wow. Going back to 1984, issue 25. This dropped on the 25th of April, 1984. It is a very old book, considering that we reside in 2025. It's a beautiful example of the issue. But first, let me smash you round the face with an iron lead piping from the pop culture landscape of 25th April 1984. I'm taking you to the movies, and we're going to go and see Romancing the Stone. Kind of, for me, I sessioned this film hard on VHS. Kind of a modern take on Indiana Jones. I feel like you've got issues with this. Michael Douglas, Danny DeVito, Kathleen Turns.
Sounds great. I just don't think it was a genre that I jived with. I don't know. It slipped through the cracks for me.
Pure adventure, S-Jubs.
Right.
Pure adventure.
So no lasers, no spaceships. I'm
No,
out.
I have a real soft spot for this film. Like
Cool.
like it is up there for me. I think it is fantastic. Michael Douglas, just strong performance. In the car, we would be listening to Kenny Loggins' Footloose. Am I right in thinking that the music video for that was
Bacon.
man? Yeah, Bacon.
Oof.
Had to have
Yeah.
been.
Dancing up a storm, doing his sort of gymnastic routine through that factory or
Oh yeah.
those barns.
Oh god, yeah, and he's
Crazy.
he's jumping.
Or his
even
double
just
is jumping. I don't know.
even just jumping was considered gnarly in 1984.
Oh, dude, he does like a full-on like horse routine. This whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously not Kevin Bacon. It was probably
Now-
a gymnastics double.
Wait a minute. Emma's texting me. When are you avails for swapsies? I will say 30 minutes. There you go. Speaking of my lovely wife, the Kickstarter funded. They are
Yes.
over the moon. Thank you if there was anyone from this realm that pledged. They are so happy. It literally just filled about an hour ago.
Wow.
Now, to your thrill, we will not be going to Hollywood Comics because I didn't have time to research that because it's half term. But I will take you to the arcade where we will play Marble Madness, Bomb Jack, and Kung Fu Master. I've got big love for Bomb Jack and Marble Madness. Do you have any memory of those games? Marble Madness was fantastic. So simple.
Is Bomb Jack different to Bomberman?
Yes.
Okay, then
Although Bomberman is a great game, though, S. Jobs.
Oh yes.
I mean, some say it's the only game you actually need to play.
Some would say that, yes.
Toys.
No, Bomb Jack. I've seen the name somewhere.
Oh yeah. I'm sure you would have. Marble Madness I actually had on the Mega Drive many years later.
Wow.
Toys, just quickly, because we need to get to this issue. A-Team toys.
Right.
The scale. Now, like, you know when you were talking about the kid that had everything in their room? That kid would usually have an A-Team van, wouldn't he? And I never had one, and I did want one. And it looked like a fabulous toy to me.
Oh, yeah.
It was almost a... It looked perfect. It looked just like the goddamn TV show. And it was so kind of big and chunky and robust. And any time, I felt like I was the only kid that didn't have the A-Team van. Because it was big,
sorry for you, dude. Has that cozy factor, nice interior.
Well, just quickly, are we saying that the scale of the A-Team figs was 6 inch?
GI Joe?
Oh,
You're talking about the big boys, the LJN ones. Are they LJN?
See, I'm getting confused with what I remember. Are you saying that there is an A-Team van that fits 3 3/4 scale figures?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
It was done. I think they were Galoob. I could be wrong, but the first time I ever saw the A-Team guys, they are GI Joe with an size with an O-ring. They have straight arms though.
Did it have rubber wheels?
I believe so. Yes.
Incredible.
Good
What
toy.
a toy. I think I might need to get one of those. They're probably quite expensive.
Well,
Just
ironically, the first time I ever
visually-
saw those A-Team figures was in the UK. I was at a sort of knick-knack shop in Brighton and saw them, and I was like, what the hell is this? I don't know, the A-Team guys wearing like orange or blue or green jumpsuits. What's going on here?
Yeah, I think I need that van for sure. I think in my retro den that would just pop beautifully.
Well,
so
look,
just another thing for me to hunt.
The A-Team van done by Playmobil is the one that I have, and that's pretty damn good too.
Rubber wheels?
If you're not a Playmobil fan, we know
I'm
this.
not. I ain't. I am not. You just when you don't like stuff, you got to own it just as much as the stuff that you do like. But look, we are at episode 60. This is my 20th donation, so God bless. Let's get into it.
Springsteen 83.
On the cover, when I see this cover, I just think of the toy line. It just takes me straight to toys. It really
Mike
is a toy.
Zeck and
it's toy
John
advert,
Beatty.
buddy.
Mm-hmm.
In a way,
I think it did have an advert to support it.
Yeah, I just mean in a way that maybe later on in the run, the covers don't necessarily make you feel as much for the toy line, whereas this is toys.
Yeah,
Dragonfly.
It gives primacy
Water
to the
Moccasin.
Dragonfly, the Water Moccasin, and of course Zartan, Cobra Commander.
The Water Moccasin.
And I mean, eagle-eye viewers would see Airborne and Wild Bill, so it's toy heavy. There's not a single thing on this page that you can't buy, apart from
the front end of the Water Moccasin is all funky for sure.
Which kind of is germane to this issue because the vehicles are all over the map in terms of their modeling.
Yeah, there's one shot where there's like 5 people in the turret.
These haven't been nailed down quite as well. But this is interesting. I mean, Mike Zeck, who can pretty much draw anything, is also a little bit wobbly on the vehicles themselves. So, like back in '84, I guess not everyone had the toys, not everyone had the pictures of the toys from every angle. So we're doing what we can with what we have.
Yeah,
But
but
Zartan looks great. CC
it's a
looks great.
ferocious cover of action, and it does feel like just out of shot you could almost picture, two hands, like one hand holding the dragonfly. It does have that feel to it. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
just because
poetic.
the scene is ever so slightly not silly, but like, look how close they are. Look at the gun. Like, that's what you would do as a kid. You'd be like, yeah, I don't care if you're next to me, and you just turn that gun like 90 degrees. I don't know.
Well, look,
There's
yeah, comic book framing, you'd want to get your subjects nice and close in
yeah,
order to tell expression. So, yeah, these vehicles are pushed together way closer than they would be in an actual engagement. But at the
but
same time, this is how we would do it as kids too, because if you
it
only had two hands and you're holding both vehicles, one in each, they would always be fighting at this kind of proximity.
and
So
also
I second that,
how
Benjamin.
how many times did you put your fig in this position? Because I did this all the time. Straight leg with a knee up, the arms like that in this sort of jumping position. Even Zartan just looks like the fig right there, just the way he is. So yeah, it's a highly toyetic
Well,
fig.
it's good for your static posing, for your setups, but maybe
Yeah.
not for kinetic play. No, my guys were always in the damn turrets or in the cockpits. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Okay. Thank you. Let's
Very much.
open this bad boy. I think we've done this ad before, but I do like it. It's a GoBots, not the
Oh,
toy. It's a subset. It's a model kit,
the
kit bashing
monogram.
thing. Yeah. Um.
Wow. Model kits of GoBots that can
Yeah.
transform?
Oh no way. No. 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 Actually, I don't know. Maybe.
Dude, the GoBots transformations were pretty rudimentary at times. Like, you could probably get away with that. I'd be curious to know, like, if anyone had those kits, did they
Yeah.
transform?
They're motorized. Jeez.
Oh.
Okay. Fair enough. I don't know if I believe that. This issue is called Zartan. We've got Frank Springer on the pencil sticks. S-Jubs, over to you for
Yes,
your
sir.
synopsis.
So Storm Shadow's been captured by the Joes, but not before he sets up a paper trail leading Joe and Cobra to a place in the Everglades near Chokoloskee. Such a fun word to say.
Hmm.
So Cobra Commander, Baroness, and Destro descend on this location after already sending in Wild Weasel and Firefly to check it out, and they haven't been heard of since. The Joes on the Jane are also heading towards this location. They launch dragonflies, they launch a shark, they get some resistance from Firefly and Wild Weasel aboard the water moccasin. All the while, Joe's are secretly dropping off Torpedo and Mutt and Junkyard to sneak up on this shack. We get an introduction to Zartan. This is his location. And we end with, well, we have a few things in the fire. Storm Shadow escapes from his cell in Alcatraz. Snake Eyes learns that someone with an Arashikage tattoo was responsible for putting Gung-Ho in the hospital. And finally, Mutt. No, it's Junkyard. Junkyard winds up at the front door of Zartan's shack. Zartan's about to deal with him with extreme prejudice. Anyway.
Beautifully handled
Oh,
synopsis
thank you.
there by S-Jubs. Shall we just spend a few minutes talking about Alcatraz? These first few pages.
The
I
Rock,
do,
baby. You ever been?
yeah, yes, I have been. I put the headset on and did the audio experience tour. A creepy place, but I love a real world location, and there is something exciting about having the Joes have a kind of makeshift base of operations. I do like that.
Certainly dramatic. I mean, it's
Very
evoking all
dramatic.
those films, I guess. Like for a modern audience, it would be The Rock, but
Mm.
Escape from Alcatraz with is it Clint Eastwood on that one?
But yeah, yeah. But that's kind of like, again, how I used to play. I never built the pit or the GI Joe HQ. It was more run and gun, like this is our base of operations for now. Or
Yeah,
I mean, I can
too much
imagine
time set up
reading.
is no fun.
reading this as a kid and being quite excited by that location. And yeah, there's something about, even these kind of cinematic shots of Storm Shadow being walked down these corridors past the cells in cuffs. It's quite dramatic. And he's extremely cocky. Is he cocky? Why say anything? I mean, he can't resist to sort of say that this is no problem for me. I'm a ninja, dude. This is just a building. What do you think?
Well, he's also had his pride stung a little bit. Roadblock did a pretty good job of laying him out in the previous issue. So there's perhaps a little bit of beef between these two. Because Roadblock's also kind of countering Storm Shadow's boasts about the building not being able to hold a ninja. Roadblock's like, go for it. I want you to get out. Because while you're in here, I can't touch you. The second you get out, you're mine.
I mean, all of that stuff is so good for who this book, especially at this time. Yeah. This is for kids, and that's an interesting little point there.
Rivalry.
Later in the issue, that there's a whole bit of like, whoa, don't shoot until don't fire until fired upon. Larry does put in these little kind of military, real world things, and it's interesting because as a kid, you'd be like, "Go on, Roadblock, lay him out," and he's like, "No, I can't touch him until you actually." If you break out, then your ass is grass.
Yeah, man. But it's such a great cliche, but it's nice that it's being played between Storm Shadow and Roadblock. Like setting up an animosity that, blink and you miss it. A lot of people might even not recall this moment. But yeah, they're set up as opponents.
Yeah. So basically we go straight from Alcatraz. And then I don't think we've ever really spoken about, can we just have a moment to enjoy Zartan's shack in the Glades, and how that we know that the Dreadnoks and the Everglades, that's synonymous with how we think of them, but being introduced to this for the first time, it is a nice location. It is very visceral. It's a good juxtaposition from Cobra and Joe and all of the tech, although obviously Zartan can switch into tech mode, but I'm there for the creative choice to have the Dreadnoks be deep in the Everglades. It's just a cool location, isn't it? Like swamps. It fits. I really love it. How do you feel about the Everglades being Zartan's home for his shack?
Zartan, yes, maybe. But the thing that I find incongruous now, and the more I think about it, the more it seems to be obvious to me, is that this shack and this kind of swampy environment is not the most suitable for the Dreadnoks, who I would expect to be more urban, living out of motels. They're closer to civilization. They're a biker gang.
Yes.
Whereas Zartan, he's like a swamp guy. He should have other sort of cretin, basically. Airboat people, I know. The Dreadnoks don't feel they fit that aesthetic for me.
Okay, but then here's where it gets tricky. If you switched it and had it more like how you think it should be, maybe their hideout would be not an abandoned petrol station, maybe like a working one, and they kind of live there, and that aesthetic would work. But it wouldn't then work for Zartan to live there. The Glades fit Zartan perfectly. Agreed. He's front and center, so I feel like they just have to follow suit with wherever he is.
Yeah, and if you are a criminal biker gang, this probably is the perfect place to lie low. You wouldn't want to stay in the city all the time.
Yeah, dude, it's a short hop from downtown.
You reckon?
Well, not a short, a couple of hours maybe, but off there. Anyway, I do enjoy it. I like the Glades, and I like Zartan's shack. It's mysterious and somewhat spooky. I think it's quite fun having the cobras milling about there.
Sure. So it's a nice set to recreate. I wish there was something we could purchase that was like Zartan's shack.
Yeah.
It could be the sort of almost Cobra equivalent of the transportable tactical battle platform in that, it's a base, but you can put it in the water and it'll look good.
Like, you could argue, for me personally, the water moccasin may have seen the most play out of
really?
all of my vehicles. We would build swamps and bogs, and my God, we played with that thing. It's still, to this day, is one of my... what is it about that colorway? It's so specific. It is the perfect color. It's just...
Agreed.
It's just the coolest vehicle ever. I get such nostalgic pangs even just looking at it. I mean, we grubbed ours up so massively, and we would always have it just... I never used to play with it in like full throttle mode. It would always be like idling through swamps and bogs, and
oh yeah,
we'd grub it up so nicely, and it photographed beautifully even back then on a 35mm, crappy camera. It's just so, that color is so dark. It just looks great wherever you put it. What a toy! What a toy! Anyway, that's the Glades. So when we cut back to the Joes on their frigate, and there's a lot of green shirts, and there's kind of a mess hall, and as I was reading it, I did think to myself that the Joes in these issues, these earlier issues, they feel so much more like a functioning arm of the existing military, in a way that maybe as you get later on in the run, they feel maybe more separate, and they can kind of do what the heck they want. Whereas
they become a superhero team as opposed to these guys being like, as you said, a bunch of green shirts. But, ironically, there's not a single green shirt on this ship. It seems like everybody there is, or at least could be, assigned a real Joe name. Like, even these guys in the background, there's no telling who they are necessarily, but like they could essentially be Grunt, Short Fuse, and I don't know, if Clutch shaved his face. These sailors. The Joe's in their kind of maritime attire.
Stuff. Yeah, but I like all the preamble. There's a lot of preamble to this mission before it gets going, and maybe later on in the run, you would very much do without this kind of stuff, and it's action based, and they're
your classic name checking still happens to this day, and it's Larry just basically bringing on board new readers. And like, as kids, would we not fawn over this stuff of like name checking everyone and their vehicle assignment? Like, so-and-so is going to fly, another guy's going to be the gunner, these guys are going to be on the skids.
That's good storytelling, and it is absolutely necessary with GI Joe. I mean, I
don't know if it's good storytelling insofar as it's like boilerplate stuff that we really appreciated back then. Because it's, once again, selling you the toy.
Yeah, it's not good... Yeah, maybe he's effectively doing what he's been asked to do. You cannot have that many characters and not refresh names for people and treating people like they've just picked up this book. Like, I think it is necessary, personally.
Well, one flick to the letters section makes it pretty evident. Like, people were either buying the toys at the time or inquiring the editors of this book, like, where can I get Roadblock? When will they become available? So, like, the fervor about getting these characters, getting your own personal avatars of these characters was so high. So yeah, it was such a sweet reward when your character, your favorite figure, gets name checked and gets the kind of an indication of where they're going to be on the mission. Are they going to be riding the skids of the Dragonfly? Or are they going to be piloting the Shark? Or are they going to be in the Water Moccasin? Like, yeah, dude, I'm here for this. It gets just a big pass from me.
Because you just mentioned it, I would like to just know definitively what your favorite version Roadblock is.
Ooh, the one with Marduce, man. Because while you might get better Roadblocks, that is the one that galvanized his initial look and his classic weapon. Every other version came with, something else. An equally good machine gun, perhaps even more practical machine gun in the sort of 1986 version case.
Sorry, can you just paint me a picture? So what are you saying your favorite version is?
is 1984.
1984. Okay.
Tank top, gloves, web gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means... okay, talk to me about version 2, the kind of Sumbo version.
Great, but his details are a bit soft. It's unclear what environment he's supposed to work in. It's definitely a signature look, but at the same time, like, who are you going to look... Which version's going to look better hauling a rucksack through a jungle? You know?
Plus, I do enjoy that version, and I enjoy him on a Havoc, but I have to say, I've got a lot of love for the Tiger Force version. I think, if only for that damn helmet, one of the coolest accessories ever. I was
about to mention the helmet in connection to the fact that, like, Roadblock is hardly ever depicted with it, but it's such a nice option to have.
Well, this
like
might
helmets.
Shock you. This might shock you. I've just loaded it up. Look who I've got sitting in my vintage basket.
Star Brigade Roadblock.
Yeah, but hold fire. Look at this. I don't know. I think I'm going to make a purchase here, dude.
It's a good figure.
I think that is a cool looking fig.
Damn good body. And amazing head sculpt. 2 wins.
I think it's somewhat funny that Roadblock finds himself in that get-up. It's it's just, I like seeing his head sculpt there pop out the top. I think I'm going to get this. He's on for 15
The 90s
quid.
head sculpts for Roadblock are excellent. Like, the 84 is a bit weirdly shaped. 86, maybe a bit of a strange expression, and it's a bit soft. It's a bit too round.
Live on the show, what shall I offer? He's on for 15. Shall I offer 10? I'm going to offer 10.
How are they going to answer you, Ben?
I'm going to offer 10. I don't even know what he comes with. Jeez.
Junk.
Okay.
You can toss the
That
accessories.
was a little detour there on Roadblock. But I was interested to know what your favourite version was, because there's not really a bad version. So,
are you 86 all the way?
Yeah, because it's the one I had. So it's very difficult, isn't it, to separate? Well, that's what I had. So that's obviously my favourite because I have no.
You don't need to explain any further. That's the trump card right there.
He's so Sunbowy. What's iconic about the version 2 Roadblock? Are we saying it's the green, yeah? It's the kind of, I don't know, the grey pants.
Such a nice synergy that he has, ironically, with cross country.
I know.
Cross country will always have an echo.
Yeah, they look so good.
It feels right for them to be on the Havoc, and you don't get more 1986 sweet spot than the Havoc.
You do not. Oh,
no.
Touche. Well, we're talking a lot about the plastic this episode, and that ain't no bad thing.
So the big action set piece is a vehicle battle.
It's good.
Thrilled about that.
Yeah. I think there's always something nice when you've got helicopter battling a ground-based vehicle. I think that's cool.
But it appears like the Moccasin can take flight, right?
Oh, come on,
baby.
It is
depicted...
Yours took flight a few times.
It's an airboat, but damn, it's airborne.
Yeah, oh yeah. Do you want to? Also, we said we'd discuss it. Do you want to talk about some of the scale issues where sometimes that thing is drawn very big in this comic book.
Well, we can flick to it for the viewers.
The width on it, the heft.
It's sort of early depictions with Destro, Cobra Commander, and Baroness.
If you zoomed out, that would be a very big boat. If you pulled out and saw...
There are so many moccasins in Cobra's pool. You've got to have some blue shirts manning them from time to time.
Yeah, for sure. But, so we'll talk about the action in this issue. It's... I don't know. I found it to be good
cramped.
Action, well drawn, I think, for the most part, and it's quite zany as well in places.
Well, it all comes to a head when you see depictions of Deep Six with his foot up on the wheel and his hand on the throttle and his other arm sort of resting on his knee. This is a strange choice. I know what they're doing. This is Frank Springer's way of showing exactly how cool as a cucumber Deep Six is and what a professional he is when it comes to his job. He's sort of got this legacy about him that he's a cold fish, has no friends, not the kind of guy you want to associate with, but he does his job better than anyone else out there. And this, I guess, is the art chores taking up that storytelling slack.
Yeah. Now, Chief had the shark. I never had it, but I wanted it, and I still think it's so cool. I mean, what a bath toy!
Great bath toy.
It's such a good. It's just a great. It's a great sized toy. It really is.
And the fun of taking a toy that is aquatic and then launching it up into the air, or vice versa, taking an aerial vehicle and diving it into a body of water. I could do that for hours, man.
Same. I can do it more breaching the water that way. I always thought that's where the satisfaction was, rather than the exit. But still, both super fun. And because
it doesn't have landing gear, you presume that it's sort of hydroplanes along the surface of the water before kind of coming to a stop, like a float plane, seaboat.
But obviously, it's craned
airboat
on and off of the frigate, isn't it?
Yes. So it has done a water landing and then gets picked up.
Yeah.
Now, interesting to note, if you are familiar with the Mass Device miniseries, the Shark wasn't available in 1983 when that miniseries debuted in September. Right. But they must have had prototype images because they very squarely match up with the way the Shark is drawn here by Frank Springer. So I guess he was given maybe cartoon shots and said, here, this is the new vehicle that's coming. It's called the Shark. This is what it looks like. Boom.
Yeah.
Because, it absolutely matches its screen depiction and not its toy.
Sorry, I was just checking my Vinted. It's still pending my offer, but if anything happens during the show, I will let everyone know.
Of course. Things move quickly over on Vinted, do they?
They do, very much so. Yeah, underwater and water play with Joes is just a big part of being a kid, isn't it? Any kind of water play with your toys. Just
Deep Six, put your damn leg down. If for no other reason the fact that it's a big tease, there's absolutely no way in hell the action figure can do a pose remotely like this.
Mansplaining or manscaping or whatever. Yeah, he's got it's all out there. It's just all out. Backseat of the bus. It's very...
I don't know if it's any of those things, Ben. Manscaping.
He's taking a lot of fire.
Mansplaining.
What do they call it? Man spreading. It's when young dudes, they sit with their legs so far open and take up so much space on the tube or a bus.
Yuck.
It's gross, man. He's taking fire to the side of the Shark. Now,
that should have been
obviously,
tickets, I'm sorry.
Any toy you have with a canopy, to me, they are bulletproof, man. They are bulletproof, so you can come at me when you're playing with your mates with a chin gun, a Gatling gun, anything. That's not getting my fig inside my canopy of anything. It would have to be a missile
you had no
or something
choice.
like that.
The amount of glass on GI Joe vehicles. Holy balls.
But no one's giving up their no one's losing a battle to someone saying, I got you through the cockpit.
Yep. I mean, maybe it happened as we got older and got more nuanced, but certainly not only was every bit of glass supremely bulletproof, shell-proof, cannon-proof, but very oftentimes we had shields.
Yeah, shields.
Star Wars, man. The
shieldings. I had my shields up. No, you didn't. Quite a lot of arguing when I used to play, if I remember.
Hell yeah.
Arguing about the outcomes as if they freaking mattered.
Well, that's why games quickly became cooperative as opposed to deathmatch. Instead of having last man standing GI Joe games, they became we're all on the same team. We're going to take on these NPCs. Though none of these terms existed back then, of course.
Can I just interrupt again with Vinted? Because I've definitely... I'm really jonesing for an underwater Joe toy, and I found this is in my basket.
The Barracuda, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. It's funny because it doesn't necessarily hit you like a Joe toy. It sort of feels like it could be from another toy line. Is there any truth in
Yes.
that?
Yeah, but it seats a Joe. You
Is it the
cannot deny.
dinkiness of it? Don't
It
know.
is. It's also a gimmick toy, and yes, it's
£17.
scaled. It's not scaled the way a submarine would be. Like, it looks like it's far bigger than it actually is. In fact, when it debuted in the animated series, it was depicted as a full-size proper
Okay.
submarine, just designed like that.
What's a fair offer? Quite like this section of the show where I
I wouldn't
on
offer more than 15 quid. Is it complete?
Oh,
3
well,
missiles?
It's on for 17, and one missile is missing. 1992 GI Joe Barracuda. It has 2 of the missiles. The third is lost to time.
Offer 10. See what happens, man. Just be cheeky.
Basically, this is
Come
for
on.
Scout. I want to give him some cool bath toys.
Perfect. Elliot's 2 Barracudas made the trip with us. I'm going to add them to my childhood Barracuda. We're going to have a fleet of little subs. Elliot loves diving. He's got a pair of goggles and off he goes. So, yeah.
That's so
Aqua
cool.
play. Look, dude, you say it's off topic, but it totally is on topic. The Barracuda was my generation's answer to the Shark. And while it wasn't a flying submersible, so that fun element was gone, it was a more believable submersible, something that you could dive to greater depths. So it was more purpose built, and as such, it had a lot of action against the Hammerhead, for instance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this issue, how does this issue wrap up? I've literally just
Firefly and Wild Weasel and their blue shirt pilot. The boat gets scuttled, and absolutely, they're up a tree getting hounded by Mutt. Sorry, Junkyard. I'm going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
But then Junkyard tears off. Now, is this a trained military dog? Because, dude, it does not respond to its owner's commands.
It is not, because if it was, that thing is obedient to like a crazy degree.
They're trying to do a clandestine sneak. They're trying to do a clandestine sneak and peek. And this dog is being a liability. Or do you think this was intentional? Do you think Junkyard tearing off like that is part of some kind of plan? The dog has all the angles covered. He's like, I'm going to draw out these cobras by acting all cute. Oof.
Now I've got Junkyard, but what version would that be? Version 2 must be.
Junkyard, I assume you have the European release, so I don't know if he squarely fits within these sort of versions. But he would have been like 1991, I think.
Yeah. No, but I don't have I'm not talking about the deaf one.
Yeah, the one that preceded that, the European release of Junkyard, which is a kind of a grey and blue palette. Is that right?
Correct.
Beautiful figure. You hang on to that now, Benjamin. He's valuable.
Is he? Well, dude, that's where I was coming at. I was coming at with I've got a bucket full of Joes. So when I had 10 single Joes, I was like, I'm not sure about this. They're just going to go in the bucket. Some will go in the display case. And I was like, and they're not mine. But anyway.
Yes.
There you go.
You were one of the fortunate few to have the childhood collections largely intact, man.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. But I see what you mean. You want to have your toys to hand. Because everything else is just kind of a little bit anonymous. You're spoiled that way, bro.
But then, I've literally just bidding on a roadblock, so...
impulse buy. And also, they're cheap. They're cheap.
Yeah, they are cheap. God,
disposable joys.
I mean, looking in my basket, there's a lot of GI Joe stuff.
Courtesy of Jason Joe, baby.
Everyone's basket is just full of stuff like that, though, isn't it? It's just I'll just keep that there.
Eventually, it goes sold. You got to keep tabs.
So, S-Jubs, does this issue have a special place in your heart? Do you own it? How have you just read
No,
it? Have you
and
read the digital copy?
I'm digging out, but I do have, obviously, it's in trade paperback. And when I did the trade paperback read, I remember this issue standing out to me as having art that I found janky and didn't connect with.
Mm-hmm.
Reading it now, I'm like, I like what Frank Springer's doing. Firstly, Zartan is being given some focus, and he's a terrific character that like is a firm favorite of mine. An absolute classic image of him, like standing very supervillainy in the middle of his lair, with Destro in the background and Baroness bolting off, and that is just such a great stance for Zartan. So
Yeah.
Machiavellian and villainous and super villainous. It's very expressive. So the posturing and the posing that Frank's bringing is so great, and also just the depictions of this gloomy, massive, overgrown mangrove swamp.
Yes.
With its knotted trees and vines and things, like very cool stuff, like dark water. Though that's more the Inca's job, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, this issue has wormed its way into my heart now.
Yeah, also Larry's been sprinkling a lot of seeds, and there's green shoots of kind of how things are going to become, like the dynamic with Zartan, Destro, Cobra Commander. We're dealing with firsts way back here, and it's quite nice to see how all of that dynamic is kind of shaping up in some of the scenes in this issue.
I was thinking about it while doing the reread that, with hindsight, we know that Cobra Commander has had prior dealings with Zartan. So all of that checks out. This isn't a retcon at all. Like, Cobra Commander is sort of banging on about, yeah, I know about Zartan. He's a friend of mine. I mean, the only thing that is a bit janky, he keeps referring to Zartan as a new friend, whereas we learn out earlier on that, or later on, that Zartan was employed by Cobra Commander to do the hit on Snake Eyes. So that is, he wouldn't be a new friend. He would have been an old friend.
What Cobra Commander is actually saying is, this is a new toy. Go and get him.
There you go. But yeah, there's a loyalty that Zartan has to the Commander that predates and perhaps even supersedes the loyalties of Destro and Baroness, who, I mean, at this point in the storyline, Cobra Commander is very painfully aware that they're not all that loyal, that they will betray him at a moment's notice. So Zartan is a nice, like, new piece to add to the board.
Exactly. And it's those first interactions kind of feel exciting and new, because you know they get done to death eventually, but this is the infancy of everything, and it is quite nice to see how it all kind of shapes up. It does blow.
Do you have an attitude on any of these proto dreadnoks that we see in the panel? We get a nice line or two from Buzzer, but for the most part, we are treated to some, I suppose, early, like, not quite Ripper,
yeah,
and then some other rando.
When you look at, they feel like early versions, though, don't they, of Ripper and Buzzer?
Yep. Well, Buzzer looks as fully fleshed out as he's ever likely to be.
Yeah.
But as far as the rest, I mean, yeah, there seems to be a fourth Dreadnought hanging about. Definitely on comms. It's also a weird thing to see the Dreadnoughts at like a computer station.
Yeah, that doesn't track. They got no interest in computers at all. That's not.
Well, it could have been a different direction that the book went. Instead of, grape soda swilling, donut eating, like lunkheads, these could have, just as Zartan's looks can be deceiving and the Shaq's looks can be deceiving. Like, these guys are in character. They're in fancy dress. They're in mufti or, I don't know, undercover garb. But they're actually sharp as a tack. They're each secret agents, sort of assassins. This is one direction of the Dreadnoughts that maybe I would have enjoyed maybe a little bit more, maybe.
How did you enjoy their portrayal in the Cobra Commander miniseries?
Oh.
I
think that is the classic version of the Dreadnoughts.
Bloodthirsty. Yeah, no, visually it is, but they're, there's a few torture scenes in there. There's a few, like, they're quite kind of,
I
I don't
think
know,
all that
scary.
stuff is there, but we're dealing, at least in the Marvel era, with a comic that still is obedient to the comics code. Like, I think it's implied that the Dreadnoks have to be this super violent bunch of, like, criminals, beyond criminals.
Yeah.
They're all killers. They're nasty pieces of work. So I hats off to Skybound for taking it to that degree and showing
I
us
have to
how
say,
nasty they can be.
at the ripe old age of 44, my intrigue for the Dreadnoks and love for the Dreadnoks has actually never been higher. I know that you're not their biggest fan. The more I spend time thinking about them, the more interesting I find them. And also, I think, there's so many stories to be mined there, I think. I think they're an interesting rabble, but we're probably treading on old ground there. I've mentioned this before, but I really do like them, and I have to say, when I was a kid, I also like adored them, and I made a very kind of conscious effort to collect them, get them, have them as a unit. Yeah, I was just always very interested in
And
that
that's
kind of.
why we're on this show together, because you are the yin to my yang, baby. You like
Yeah.
Dreadnoks, whereas I do not.
It was all coming back to play. I was like, I need more than just Cobra versus
Blue and
Joe.
green.
I want my Destro guys over here. Not that the Dreadnoks. Not that they would play both sides, but I like the fact that there was a transaction involved. It's like, well, they're being paid by Cobra, so that's why they're here, kind of a thing. Anyway, that about wraps it up for this episode of Chasing Joe. I'm off to go into the woods and have a Halloween experience. What are you up to, S-Jubs?
I've got to send off some toys to my main man Paul. A belated birthday present, so I got to get out to the couriers before they close.
Oh yeah, what did you get him? What did you get him? It was on the show.
I got him a Cobra Hammerhead. Yeah,
that's it. That's what you did.
With the help of some
bugger.
Well, it was the most affordable Cobra Hammerhead you could ever imagine, because the heavy lifting was borne by a delightful member of the Berg Force, Snowcat Ron from the Netherlands, who hooked us up with all the mini subs. Yeah. All I had to do was supply the base vehicle, which I found like a thrift store find, and one canopy, which I sourced from the United States quite affordably.
Joyous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very
well.
Cool.
What have you got coming up on your first Joburg show from Cape Town?
It's our big episode 400, or at least it will have been by the time this episode is published. And still no idea what we're going to do, but I'm definitely going to pull my main man Robin, and there might be some clinking of glasses. I think I'll maybe open something special and have an inebriated podcast. May I suggest that to anyone in the game?
Yeah,
from time to time.
It does help. Sometimes you've got to grease the wheels.
Grease the wheels a little bit.
Okay, so we will see you next week for episode 61 of Chasing Joe, where I'll be tearing into another comic. But if you want me before that, you can find me over on Instagram at BenFlyingRetro. You can listen to my other podcast, People Who Play, which, God, is coming up to 2 years we've been doing that. So head on over to Substack and listen to that. You know where to find this guy on the Mothership GI Joburg homepage. You know where to go. You know what to click. But until then, I've only got one thing to say, and that is, Yo, Joe!
He's the evil master of disguise. Zartan! Change his color right before your eyes. Zartan! Bye-bye, everybody.